Okay, so we've got this cleaned out now. You sort of see there's no deposit, there's nothing left here. Now with the bores, there's nothing really that you have to do because the bores don't actually do anything. The seals actually hold the piston in place, so it's not something you have to worry about really. You can get them honed, and you can buy the little honers, which don't take long, but it doesn't actually achieve that much. It just makes it a little bit shiny and pretty. So what we do now, the next stage will be cleaning the pistons. Now we're going to use new pistons because, as I say, these ones here, chrome's come away, they're destroyed, they'll never work properly ever again. But just if you were going to clean the pistons, very simple. What you want to do is just get yourself a nice bit of rag down, lay it out, get some chrome cleaner, give yourself a little puddle. Now first off, obviously you've cleaned these with brake cleaner, which takes all the gunk. I mean, that generally does most of the work. We'll see. So get the poser, dip it in, and like I say, just rub backwards and forwards, go round like that. And generally this will clean them up as best as possible. Now another thing, I do know people who have tried removing pistons with, and they've stuck grips on them. That's one of the quickest way to destroy your pistons. You always want to pump them out, as I showed you earlier. Don't use grips on them, that's it, that's the end of them. And you know, they're quite expensive, they're about 30 to 40 bucks a piston, so you really don't want to be doing that. Now again, this is a piston that I wouldn't be happy with putting in, but you can actually see how it's bringing it up. Okay, so that's just how you clean the pistons up. Simple way, flat surface, just scrub them in and make sure you get all of the old thing. If you've done it that way, also again, give them a little spray with brake cleaner, make sure you take any residue off. Okay, so we'll put that aside. And then what we have here is just tray that's got all your components in. Take the card out, got some details here and some notes and messages. What we'd recommend is cutting this card in two, because it just gives you a really nice surface. You know, it's clean, you know it's prepared. Once you've actually put the red rubber grease on them, everything will want to stick to it. So I'll just get some scissors here. Okay, excellent. Two very clean surfaces. Now when you do the seals, you want to do it all in one hit. And what you're looking to do is, you really don't want to coat these. It's just what you're trying to do is put a film. So you see how I've got just a little tipple on here. You put them on your fingers, and you're just going to feed the pressure seal all surfaces. So you're doing top and bottom and both sides. You're just running it round. A little bit more. But you don't want anything, you don't want any globs on it. You really only need a little bit. Okay. See, and you see where it's nice having these nice clean surfaces here. Again, dab with your finger in both sides, and then run this round. Okay, you see how we're doing that? Okay, we've just gone round and we've just put a thin film all across them. But what the red rubber grease does is, now Don't ever confuse this with any other grease. This is special. It's the only thing that works fine with brake fluid, and it works fine and is good for the rubber. It stops the rubber from aging, it stops it from hardening, it stops it from cracking. Also provides that initial lubrication so you don't get like a dry burn where you're trying to put the pistons in dry. You'd never do that. I mean, if you haven't got any of this, use brake fluid. Just dip them in brake fluid, same procedure. Make sure you get all the sides nice and wet, but you'll find that you'll get a much better sitting here with the red rubber grease. We get our caliper back. Okay, and we'll start with the pressure seal. And what you're trying to do is you just nip one side in, and you do this gently. You get that one corner in, and it's just feeding it in, making sure it doesn't flip or twist or get knotted. And you just run it round. See, I mean, it is once you've got the red rubber grease, it just slides in there, and it makes a perfect fit. Okay, let's get the other one off the other side. There we go. You feel it going. Now, when you get these seals, if you're unsure of the make or anything, these they fit correctly. There's no ifs and buts. Right, now that one's got caught up. See how it's got a slight little twist in it, so that's not correct. There we go. There, she's in now. Okay, perfect. Okay, same procedure here with the guide seals. Just put them in on the top edge, hold that in place, and what you're doing is you're just feeding it round. Okay, so you make sure no movement, nothing protruding overly. You shouldn't be loose in there. It needs to be the absolute perfect size. As I say, Honda make this caliper in 4 different sizes. They do 25.5, they do 27mm, they do 30mm, and they do 32mm. So if you don't know the history of the bike, or you don't know the history of the part itself, you've bought it somewhere else, you've got that little guide there to show you. It's a 30, but these need to fit perfectly, and you know it. You go, yep, that's perfect in. Okay, go around. Okay, next stage, pistons. Now, I've got some standard pistons there. I want to get a box dirty. So this is how the usual kit will come with just your stock ones, but as we're doing this, I much prefer these, which are the stainless steel ones. This is a 316 stainless steel, and it's about the best stainless steel that you can get. I mean, they use this on oil rigs, they use it in medical equipment. It really is the good stuff. So what we're going to do is, again, a little bit of red rubber grease. Same thing, we're going to put a film all the way around the piston. Doesn't matter if you get too much excess on this, because the seals will just wipe any excess away. And we only have to worry about the sides, don't worry about the bottom. And this wants to go directly in. Okay, so get it in. Now what's quite important is that we keep these as straight as possible. So as I say, we're going to get these pistons. It's very important that we get these really nice and straight. If you haven't got them straight, they won't go in properly. So get them in, and you'll find there's a couple of stages. First to go around the guide seal, then the next one will be the pressure seal. But there we go. You feel it when it's nice and straight. See, and that just goes in lovely. Let's say we get that first little bit of pressure in, and then you can just feel it on the second one. There we go. You know, as soon as it goes all the way around, you see it just glides in there. Lovely. Okie doke. Right. The next thing that we have is again the slide shaft. Now you can sort of see where I've got this cleaned up. We've also got this intersection now all cleaned up. Make sure that the ring is clear. You haven't got anything in the ring because this is where the boots sit. So that's going to run through. Do say is we get that copper grease and we want to just insert that directly in there. Okay. Get this, all the excess wiped away. One messy stuff. Get that wiped away. We want to get it out of that ring. Okay. So now that we have it like this, we actually get that ring into its position like that, you see. Okay, and then what we do is we then just push this forward. Okay, be careful it doesn't do that. That's what you don't want to happen, is for it to push out on that other seal. There we go. There, she's doing it now. Excellent. Okay, that goes round. Okay. Now we need a bit of a clean up. Bit of copper grease in there won't do any harm at all. In fact, it'll do some good. But if you feel this now, perfectly balanced, nice movement, and that's what you need. It's really important with this caliper. Okay, so just to summarize what we've done now, as I say, we've got the pins prepped with the copper slip, and what we want to do is also make sure your pads are all the way in. It makes it easier, it makes it a lot less likely to trap air. So you want to make sure those pistons are all the way in, don't have them half out. It makes it a lot easier to get them bled when they're pushed all the way in. If we just look at the state of these seals and all of the old stuff, you can see why the brakes were bad in the first place. These were the pressure seals, and you can see all of the aluminum oxide that's built up. Push it, and you feel them. You know, you're actually worried that they might actually crack. And here, if you look at the guide seals, these are even worse. I mean, look, some of these are actually torn up in places. Yeah, again, aluminum oxide. And what's been tearing them up are these pistons that all the chrome's just come away. I'm not sure how clearly you can see this on the camera, but you can just see that the chrome has just flaked away on this. Fortunately now, the stainless steel pistons, that's never going to happen again. So I'm just going to get a set of pads in here, and then that will be job done.